Oh.
It's not there anymore.
Oh.
I'll have to go find it later.
Shucks.
The Adam Vickers splash screen featuring...
Adam holding upside down cartoon.
It was my Pack Attack deck.
Pack Wars.
I couldn't look at it. JB took a picture of me.
So we are, of course, here at Round 2 at Lost Legion Games and Comics for our Gatecrash Launch Party. This is draft number 2, round number 2. We watched Brandon Hart on the left build his Dimir pool. We made a lot of fun of him from picking things we didn't agree with. And now he is 1-0 facing off against John Ellington, who just naturally draws his 3 colors and goes...
Wow.
How does that happen?
You don't expect turn 1 Swamp into turn 2 Red White Boros card.
Is this the point where you think that, wow, that was a great play by me, where I built my deck so wrong and I just got so lucky?
Or you think, man, why didn't I draft
This was a
Dimir?
mulligan, too. This is a mulligan to 6.
Yeah. Maybe he just went for that hand. He knew it was possible, and he went for it.
And there's Corpse Wall, which is a defender. I don't think... I'm going to be very serious.
Sacrifice it to itself.
I'm trying not to use as much jargon as possible, but I literally don't think Brandon Hart's deck can beat a Sky Knight Legionnaire.
Exactly.
So
Because his bears don't fly.
No, he has rats. Rats, of course, are earthbound.
Yeah.
That's why we need that launch party. We can throw our rats.
We're at a launch party.
At Sky Knight Legionnaires. Well, Garrett was saying he was confused when he came here tonight and figured that everyone was forced to play launch party in their decks.
Oh, you thought that was a promo?
Oh,
how about this? The second Sky Knight Legionnaire.
Oh, well then.
If one's good.
He's going to extort it, too.
Why? You should.
He did.
Yeah.
And then attack in for 4.
Clearly, John Ellington has the better bears.
In the Battle of Bears, the flying hasty ones with horrible art are much better. How bad is that?
Oh no! As Dizga is pointing out, Brandon has Sky Games in his deck.
Duh, Flying Rat Night Trouble!
But as Dizga also forgets, you can only activate it as a sorcery.
And he has a defender that can sack himself too.
Well, he does have Aetherize, which are so good against the hasty 2/2 flyer deck. My filter is gone.
As we see John, he literally drew the exact amount of plains and mountains that he needed. Now he'll just continue to draw swamps.
Then he'll go, I swear I only have this one plains.
One plain, this one mountain.
What is the card that he plays? Is that the Spy?
They all look the same.
Valstrad Spy?
No, because John would have had to mill cards. That is the case.
I do not know what that card is.
Well, Shadow Alley Denizen?
No, that would have been a 1-mana play.
Third Parasite?
Nope, that would also been a 1-mana play.
Pack Rat?
Yes. Can't tell what it is.
The one that John played? It's an what is that?
Wait, is that a rat that Brandon played?
No, it wasn't a rat. I'm pretty up on my rats.
You should be.
Brandon's got him right where he wants him now.
John took
You lured him in that. Oh. Sever the bloodline.
That's the card that, like, he gets -1/-1 and can't block?
No, it gets -1 for each creature in the graveyard, right?
Oh.
As John has no creatures in the graveyard. I'm going to go back to this every time Brandon plays that card.
Just going to put this right here.
Yeah, really.
I'm going to concentrate, hold each card.
And now John's going to play a much better threat, which would be a much better target for that card.
Yeah, the card that John played is the 4-mana guy that's a 2/2 flyer. I don't think he does anything other than that. It's just a...
He has some tags. Oh, he has extort.
Does he? I don't think. I think he says flavor text.
No, that's the artifact gargoyle.
2/2 flyer, 4?
You're an artifact gargoyle.
Oh, sick burn.
Burn.
From the legend.
I thought you had to leave.
Now he doesn't. Now he's...
No, I'm in here. I'm in this... I'm really...
Sticking you with so many sick daggers. Serves in with everything.
I'm too involved for this matchup now to leave. I want to see how it ends.
Yeah, that is the other guy. Thanks to whoever in the draft is better at us than this, and keeps telling us who the cards are. That's the one where you sack a dude and they mill until they hit a land.
Okay.
Which I think John already has all his lands in play.
No, he has 2 planes. He's going to
deal 4 to it.
He's going to extort, and then he's.
Okay, well, you have to extort before the spell resolves.
I don't know. My last opponent slammed the card on the table, and he was like, extort. And I was like, alright.
It's like cascading.
What happened there? Did Brandon just miss the? Did he just miss up the math?
Yeah.
Because the counterspell he used was the one with the creature, like the power of your creature.
Yeah, a 2-power creature on board.
Yeah. Whatever, doesn't matter. Brandon lost that game when John just went Swamp Plains Mountain, then played Sky Knight Legionnaire.
Twice.
Then never played another white or red card. Well, he played Avenging Arrow, Arrows of Justice. Is that what it's called?
Is that the red-white hybrid?
Yeah. That card's really good.
Yeah, it is.
Is it attacking or blocking creature?
Both.
John won that game.
Yeah, it's attacking or blocking.
So John...
For most.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Brandon would have went Barret, probably would have won that one.
Probably still would have lost a close one.
I think he could have raised the Legionnaire.
He needs Ogre Joe. He needs the Ogre Lord that makes rats.
Slumlord.
He's Slumlord Millionaire. Can that be the new name of our broadcast? Welcome to Slumlord Millionaire with your host, Turd Ferguson.
Oh.
The quality, I'm going to go ahead and apologize right now, and again, several times throughout the quality of the night, for the quality of content in tonight's.
I think we're doing good.
We're crushing it. I made a joke earlier about my dogs using computers. We asked Brandon Hart to draft on camera for us, then have made unrelenting fun of him all night.
It seems like a really good idea.
Well,
I was sitting at home and I was thinking, man, they're going to film somebody drafting. I hope they don't pick me.
Maybe.
And it worked out.
Maybe. What you're thinking is you're watching this at home. It's like, hey, I'm local to that store. Maybe I'll go down and play Magic. Oh, what's that? They're constantly making fun of one of their friends.
I meant like Brandon would watch this and he's just like, oh, well, thanks, guys. Because I go back to see what people talk about me. And I have messy pile shuffles, apparently. They go from six solid line to just a pile.
You start with 7.
Just a pile.
You start with 7 piles and then end up in one giant mess.
Still random.
Still, yeah. It is successfully shuffled.
I'd have 3-packs, JB.
I suggested to JB.
That is one of the struggles of this thing, is that JB is like constantly having to yell because like we've got so many people. There's like 3 drafts going on right now.
I thought it'd be fun. As people, they have 3-packs. Draft the first one and then be like, oh, we're doing 4-pack sealed. Here's another one. Have fun, guys.
Okay, what's this guy? It's a battalion guy. It's a 2-drop.
Oh, the 3/2. They gosh, what does he do? He's a 3/2 white and red. I had a bunch of them in the sealed.
And then
they're good.
Brandon.
Oh, the first strike battalion guy?
Yeah.
Hi. Nice. Go get your trade on.
But nobody's here to trade.
They will be.
You gotta wait till the
You
draft's
just have to wait till the
over.
drafts are over.
I know, just like I have a Godless Shrine for trade.
Nice.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for a Godless Shrine.
I'm not.
What's chat?
Welcome to Sweet Rubbins with your host, Adam Vickers. Go get your trades on. Go get your
Whatever.
sweet duel.
Jelly.
Wojak Halberdiers.
What does it do?
3/2, and its battalion is first strike.
But again, Brandon trades out with it, but again, he's facing down this Sky Knight Legionnaire because John just naturally draws a shard every time.
I just said shard. Oh, yeah, because of the 3 colors.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
I was not, and that would be one of the few times this evening where I'm not making a joke. Beckon Apparition. I really like Beckon Apparition.
Makes his Devour Fleshes weaker. Or whatever that enchant card
Yeah, I mean,
is.
it's a nombo with that card, but I mean...
Oh, I'm stuck on that card all night.
Mm-hmm.
And what does he put under it?
A token. I'm not sure what's going on.
Did he put a token or did he put a cipher card underneath it?
No, he put a token underneath Beckon Apparition. Beckon Apparition is not cipher card.
Right.
I think he just used that as the token. Then when he realized he got a token, it's like, I'll just use this token. But then actually didn't move the card off.
Right.
I think that's That's my analysis of that situation.
Let's just set him up. Let's just see if he makes the correct action following this.
Okay.
What is the app they use for life total spelling?
That is, as we've talked about before, that is the #1 question I get asked on this stream. And the answer, as always, is that app is called Life Total. It is 3 years old. It is no longer available in the Apple Store. Your best bet for something that mimics that is something called 20 Life. People love that app, which is it's equivalent of just like a giant Post-it note. Like there's nothing going on with that app. It's just like you can count your numbers up and down. They're very large.
Are we in combat right now?
I don't know. I think Brandon took the damage already. Let's go put this right here. Now, if he had not used the Beacon apparition, that thing would have been dead, right?
-1/-1.
But he can trade with the apparition, which of course is a 2-for-1.
Actually, it's not getting anything right now. Like, it's still just a 2/2.
Oh, because it's not all
It
graveyards.
doesn't start. No.
It's not all graveyards. It's just John's graveyard. So, Skyknight Legionnaire with Wretched Flesh on it, which is currently granting -0, -0. Squaring off against a copy of Beacon Apparition that is somehow still on the battlefield with a token under it. This is what I expect New Standard to look like. That awkward point where you have the enchanted yet not affected Skyknight Legionnaire against a sorcery. Like, that's very awkward to combat.
Opposing instant.
Instant, I should say. No one will ever draft for us again. We do have like some what I refer to as draft ringers that I was hoping to get, but then but Max and Vickers they drafted in the first one.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Taylor is fine, and some of the other guys that come,
Consuming Aberration?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's not.
No, that's it looks like Consuming Aberration. It's Call of the Nightwing. Make a 1/1 flyer and Cipher.
We go Cipher 1/2. The one that can attack.
Yep.
We have 2 tokens. Or we have a removal spell.
Wait, where's...
Okay, the original token is in play. And now we're casting a removal spell.
Uh-huh.
Arrows
Arrows of Justice. Yeah. We still have 1 token.
Yep. Arrows of Justice, 3 damage to attacking or blocking.
It's 4, I think.
Oh, okay, that's really
And, although, to be fair, John is not putting on any pressure. I mean, he does have the 10-turn clock and Skyknight Legionnaire, but, you know, assuming Brandon can... It probably will go all the way, actually. Also playing that Wretched Flesh makes Aetherize much, much worse, too.
Yeah.
Vickers is out there tearing it up.
He is.
Even when he's not on camera, he's on camera. He actually ratchets it up pretty hard when he's on camera. Let me look in the book. Is that Knightly card or whatever?
There's one that gives it protection from creatures and like +2/+2.
I'm not going to be able to figure out what that is.
As Brandon goes down to 8, yeah, that's the card that he played. So he took 4. Now the 1 spirit can't even block.
Holy Mantle.
Yep.
+2/+2 and Pro Creatures.
Spirit Mantle.
The card's really good.
Yes, very good. As we see him cast another enchantment. My goodness, if Brandon can just find this 1 Aetherize. This is a +1/+1 on lifelink. Holy crap.
You should, this is the very definition of overextending.
Yes.
There's no need to do that.
The card that he was trying to play was the black-white hybrid mana.
Yeah, how is his deck? Yeah, the +1/+1 on life. Is that Gift of Borzhov?
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yes.
Gift of the Borzhov or Gift of Borzhov or whatever. That card's really good. It's kind of like that card from M13, the vampire card to give it like +2.
Vampire?
Yeah, that card's really good.
That's the only reason I want to play Bruta and Standard.
The card's really good. +2/+2 and lifelink.
Yeah. just creates impossible race situations.
So Brandon has stalled briefly here. The Aetherize keeps him alive in this match. But the Sky Knight Legionnaire is going to come down with haste. Was it a Boros charm? Is that how is he trying to win the game there? Do you know what that red-white card that John played was?
No.
You're gonna chump now, aren't you? Keep yourself out of burn range.
So we see John pay an extra black mana for this for some reason. So he's floating one swamp. And what is this? Oh, that's a key rune.
Mm-hmm.
You see, they get counterspell.
Yeah, I hate that card in Brendan's deck, but I mean,
Wow.
pretty good
it
there.
It actually only gets counterspell because he accidentally tapped the swamp. Like, he has enough to pay for it. Or, no,
I mean,
he still had enough to pay for it. Because it was only for one, right?
No, that's not. It's a hard counter.
Oh, okay.
It's counter target non-creature spell, draw a card. I think it's awful, but like it's fine. And there's Velstrad Spy, which is perfect in this situation because it blocks that Legionnaire all day.
Yep. It's
And then
the big butt that we talked about.
Yep, milling 2 cards. And I'm assuming since John used all of his cards in his hand on that one turn where he didn't win, that's very unlikely that he has a hard removal spell for it, as he draws Massive Raid, I think. Massive Raid's not good. Massive Raid will trade with it. You know, you can attack and then before damage.
But if you're at 20 life, you don't do that.
Mm-hmm. What's that do?
Are we massive raiding it right now?
No, it's not Massive Raid.
Alright. Well, tap like 3 or 4. All-wing lightning deals 4 damage to target creature and each other creature that shares the same name.
Yeah. John's deck has a lot of removal. Question in the chat, what is my favorite Gatecrash card? That depends, I guess, on what we're talking about. My favorite one, I think, is that Sylvan Primordial for commander purposes.
You already know what mine is.
Yours, of course, is Gutter Skulk.
You built a deck last night around this.
Oh, Biomass Mutation.
Yeah. How did that go?
I don't think the deck's very good, but it's fun. Bomber Core and the Elemental that gets +2/+0 with Battalion. So Brandon's going to be dead next turn, barring his second copy of Aetherize or a bunch of removal.
John just died to turn this card sideways.
Mm-hmm.
Can't even keep his fingers off of it.
So this means that Brandon has the Wretched Flesh, right?
He does have one copy of Wretched Flesh. He has one copy of Aetherize. He has one Devour.
And you have to Wretched Flesh the Legionnaire, right? Because you don't have... That gets +1. It's a 1/1 base. It's a white of 6th Street or something like that. But it gets +1/+1 for each creature in John's graveyard. But isn't he just dead here? Because he's going to get a trigger from the Bomber Core, assuming John doesn't forget it. Right?
John just literally spewing his lands onto the table.
He's drawn them all pretty well.
Rain has untapped mana.
Just naturally playing 3 colors and always having all 3 of them on turn 3.
Well, that's probably how he wants.
That's how the pros do it.
He hasn't played a gate yet.
I feel like I owe people, like 100 people are watching us talk about nonsense. This poor people. They're like, let's turn into the Lost Legion stream and watch some fun Magic like usual. Nope. It's just me on like 6 hours sleep. It's you hating this limited environment. We're just talking crap about people we know. Mostly Brandon. So he is announcing his trigger. Brandon being very polite and pointing out the Battalion trigger for the Bomber Core. And now we're going to get an Aetherize.
And we got a text right into the mic.
Straight text in it. Question in the chat, is this draft or sealed? This is, of course...
3-pack draft. GTC ×3. And we do see an Aetherize. Had it. Still had this card.
It's still dead.
You still had to take one from the trigger. Oh, John, you don't play the haste guy. You play the haste guy next turn, John. What are you doing, John? Brandon scoops him up anyway.
I guess it's a point.
No, he was just ranging his lance. Jeez, I'm good.
Pretty good at Magic and commentary there. Garrett, +10. Commentary stats. Brandon's got no outs to this. So John will move to 2-0. Then he'll play somebody in the finals.
Yeah.
Then it's a matter of can they finish quickly enough so we can get another draft in.
It's next round the finals, right?
Yeah. I just want to see the draft, man. I want to watch somebody pick.
I'll pick myself. So we can at least be like-minded. Or I might go Rat Tribal if it opens up.
I mean, if Rat Tribal is open, you have to go into it. I mean, that's just a smart play.
There's one rat in this set.
Mm-hmm. Question in the chat, he has a high EV draft tomorrow. Is there any reason not to force Boros? The only reason I wouldn't force Boros is because I think everyone else is going to be doing the same thing. But I would be in some kind of Oros shard. I would be in Boros or Borzhov, one of the two.
I still think you open up your packs and pick the best card.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if the signal suggests that is open, you wouldn't be there. So Brandon at 2 life, staring down Skyknight Legionnaire, the 1/1 Extort guy, and a Bomber Core. So if John has a spell he can cast, he can extort and trigger the Bomber Core and never actually deal any combat damage and win this game. Doesn't matter, but it's a fun thing I like to point out. So has Brandon tapped the 5 mana and done nothing with it yet?
He added 5 mana to his mana pool. And now he loses the game because of he's a -2 for mana burn.
Mana burn. That was the worst. It's the worst time of Magic.
Whenever I came back, I didn't know that mana burn.
No big deal. No big deal. Just ramped right up to 7 and hard cast Primordial. I know exactly why John took that Primordial. He was like, it's a rare.
What was he like?
It's a rare. I'm playing a black-red deck, and I got a 7-cost rare that's double white.
It doesn't matter that it was passed to me from 7 players down.
There's 2 of them in that draft.
He probably has the foil one.
The foil one. We didn't really see any good. We saw a really good Borzhov deck get partially taken and passed by Brandon, but we didn't really see any Boros cards in at the end of the table that we were at.
Right.
I mean, they're obviously there. I mean, John has 2 copies of
Chris Bellerin was also in this pool, so
Mm-hmm.
he probably took a lot of the red aggressive cards.
Yeah.
Since there's not a Jace in this format.
Why did he gain life?
What spell did he play?
Oh, does the Primordial, do you gain life when it,
I could look
when you sack it?
If he played the Devour Flesh, it should be John getting life.
No, it's the Primordial. When it makes your exile a creature, is it like a Swords to
Another player
Plowshares?
gains life equal to its power. It is exactly like
Swords to Plowshares.
Huh. Neat.
I didn't realize that second part.
Well, it's not the card that you read often.
Brandon draws his last card. Is it Damnation? If not,
Ooh, is that enough to kill it?
who knows? It's 7S. He's dead to every other creature on the board. He's already used both Aether Eyes. I like that quote from Diska in the chat. This is just like out of context quote of the night. Primordial's Plowshares all over the place.
I'm really happy I picked up my playset of dual deck Swords to Plowshares.
Mm-hmm. There was a period of time where my trade binder had like 2 playsets in there, and I was very surprised that like people didn't snap them up. And I always told people like, well, those are more expensive, but like $1, and people were like, well, I'll just take a cheap one. I'm like, you're going to have these cards forever. Like, just play the one you like.
These ones are going to deteriorate in 10 years.
I prefer the ones from 4th edition, just that the alpha beta art. But since I don't want to play white border cards, I end up playing Ice Age one. John pointing out that even though that has a 0 power Primordial, he can still attack and trigger Battalion.
You can still just simply turn this guy sideways. Does he have the, what is this card? The second card.
Skyknight Legionnaire?
Oh, is that the Skyknight Legionnaire? I thought that was the Minotaur, the 3 mana cost Minotaur.
Boris Reckoner.
Which turns out is a very good card.
Boris Reckoner is not, I mean, so good.
Yeah.
Like, how did we miss that one on, like, the pre-order? You watch, it's gonna win Standard tomorrow.
I'm gonna win Standard tomorrow. I'm flying down right after this. Going to Hot Atlanta.
John, poor etiquette, throwing his cards on the table as if he's already won the game. Come on, John, you're better than that. You have already won this game. You won this game about 10 minutes ago, but... Oh, Brandon drops to -2. It's going to be tough for him to come back from that. Does that mean he loses 2 more life and he starts next game at 18?
Next game at 18.
That's going to be a big detriment. So congratulations to John Ellington. We see him move to 2-0 because I am getting loaded with text from Dr. Matt. So we talked about former shop stalwart and apparently stream celebrity. It's becoming that. Dr. Matt in Charlottesville.
He's this man of intrigue. Like,
he is very much a Renaissance man. He is International Man of Mystery. He's the closest we have to the guy from the Dos Equis commercial.
Yep.
But so he had the opportunity last week. So here's the story of Dr. Matt. Dr. Matt played here. He's like maybe the best Magic player at the store. Definitely the best limited player at the store.
I argue that.
Limited, you cannot argue that. 05 was it that you went on? Someday, but he graduated from medical school, moved to Charlottesville where he is studying neurology. But he's first year medical, practicing, postgraduate medical professional. So he's busy all the time, works tons of hours. But last week he said, wanted to try to get a pre-release. So he went to a pre-release, casually went 5-0, then dropped to go to dinner with some friends because it was like a 7-round tournament. Which I'm trying to figure out like how many people do you have to have for a 7-round tournament. But then he just sent me an email the next day or Monday when I went to work. I just had an email from him. It just said, I've got the magic bug again. So, I think he just played another event and won it too. Like, the man is very good at limited. We went to Origins 2 years ago, which is a gaming convention in Columbus, Ohio, every summer. And if you haven't been in the past, you should look into that. It's a very fun weekend-long event for all gaming, not just Magic. I went to trade and he went to play limited events. He played in like 8 he went X and 1 for events over the weekend, including a Grand Prix trial. Meanwhile, I think Ret Tribal is a good strategy in Standards. So we are waiting for round 3 to go up there. Again, thanks for checking us out here on the Lost Legion FNM broadcast. Normally we do Standard. We will be back to Standard next week. Should be exciting next week to see some new decks, to see what pops up. Obviously with Star City. Where's Star City tomorrow? Atlanta? Star City Atlanta tomorrow. That's usually the first iteration of the Standard format. So we'll see what decks show up there and inevitably find their way to our store on Friday. But it will be interesting because I think there's a lot of different things that could happen. I think it's going to be aggressive. I mean, aggressive decks are in the best spot possible. So if there are some quick decks out there.
There are some quick decks out there. But I think it's going to be a lot like, since Cincinnati was the first week of Return to Ravnica format, where there were, the number 1 deck projected was an aggressive Golgari Zombies deck. And it turns out that what I think is also going to win next week, a blue-white-red control deck.
Oh, well, yeah, I think
if you show up with 4 Searing Spear, 4 Pillar of Flame, and 4 Snapcaster Mages.
I think American Flash is probably the best deck. Because you get to play Boros Charm and snap it back.
Yep.
That's what Dr. Matt wants to play.
Yep.
So, Dr. Matt, if that's what he came up with, then it's probably the best deck. He sent me a list of cards he needs for whenever he comes in.
I tell him I have it.
Well, he wants these for permanent, like because he's got the magic bug again. Yeah. So, but like the Flash deck was already really good, but now you get Boros Charm. Boros Charm is just so good. I mean, it's 4 damage. Snap back is 8 by itself. I mean, you can play Pikes if you want to. You don't even need to. You get
the indestructibility too.
Yeah, it's a counter spell. Yeah. It's a counter spell. It's a direct damage spell, and Double Strike is kind of silly in some. Yeah, with Pike. Yeah, and I figure you probably play a couple Pikes because it seems wrong not to play a couple Pikes in that deck. Or I mean, at least one, like you say. Yeah, because you just
don't have a lot of room.
Yeah, just so good. Well, you don't ever want to tap out on your turn.
Right.
The only card you want to tap out for is Geist of St. Traft. But I think that deck would be pretty good. I think mono red is going to be, I mean, whether or not it wins is one thing, but it's going to be...
I think mono red has to splash white.
It might, but I mean, you can play Reckoner, you can play Lightning Maulers, you've got the Loyal Legionist now, it's another, like, effective one-drop. But then you pick up Skullcrack, which is huge.
That's in the main deck for the mono red.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Lava Spike, like, at worst case scenario, it's a Lava Spike, and it's fine. Then I also think, like, what else would be good? There's going to be some kind of, like, crazy 4 or 5 color control deck.
Yeah. And I think Esper Walkers is also going to be a good deck still.
Oh, that's a good card in the chat. Blind Obedience. You know, a couple people talking about, is there going to be like an Esper control deck or some kind of control shell that has Blind Obedience in it? Blind Obedience is really good.
I have it in my band deck.
How many copies?
One.
I don't know. I don't know. I know that card is good. In theory, you know what I mean? I know it's the raw power of the card is very good, but it'd be interesting to see how it's best utilized, because I'm more than willing to admit that I don't know where it's best finds its home in.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, I think some kind of Esper Walker's deck is also going to be very good.
Mm-hmm.
Like the blue-black got a lot of more kill spells. Basically.
It's just Sam Black today posted a group, because he's doing the deck thing on the daily decks on the dailymtg.com now. He was posting a different guild deck every day this week, and today's was Gruul. It just looked awful to me. Like, I don't understand why you would ever play that.
His decks on Daily MTG have been somewhat lacking.
Yeah, because I imagine they're like, make this deck in this unplayable archetype, because we want our casual players to see it.
That, and like, it started right around the New Year, and you know, it just seems like he really wasn't prepared, and they were just like, hey, we need you to start writing decks. So he's just like, okay, this guy won Pro Tour Barcelona with Miracles. Here's this deck. It's good.
It was good. It won him a Pro Tour.
So
it should be interesting to see I mean, everything we talked about so far is basically just like an extension of a current archetype that's being modified with new Gatecrash cards, or add a color to something. But, you know, I mean, like, even a red deck, a Boros deck wins. It's the same archetype with some new cards. But it'd be interesting to see if there's any wholesale new archetypes that we're missing. You know, we talked about last night just kind of casually about elves and about biomass mutation and what that's a deck, and we put together some makeshift lists kind of just to test a theory, and there might be something there. You really don't have the critical mass of elves like you want before. You don't have a Llanowar elf, which is really hurts the deck. But I mean, a card like, I'll be honest with you, I think another deck that's going to show up in some force is some kind of like good stuff deck with Master Biomancer.
Master Biomancer is a pretty good card.
Master Biomancer is really good, and that card is only $10 right now. Like, if there's any card that's underpriced in this format, I think it's that. I mean, it's a rare, I know, but I mean, I don't know. That card is really good.
The card is very good.
This card is really, really good. It is also an elf, so it has this interesting synergy. If you go turn 1, Arbor Elf, turn 2, Archdruid, turn 3, the Biomancer, then everything comes in with +3 counters on it.
And you can still play like 2 mana Doors after that.
Yes. And you can play 1 copy of Infinite Reflection and put Infinite Reflection on your Archdruid, which is your dream scenario. We're just playing 1 copy of that just for funsies. And then, of course, you play Biomass Mutation, which is basically a mirror entity effect. And it's an instant speed, and it is... Another thing people think about, I think your average player looks at a hybrid card, especially if they're unfamiliar with playing with those the first go-around. Like, that card's just green. You don't have to have a blue source in your deck. So you can cast it just off elf activations. I'm playing some Gyre Sages in there, but I don't really like them. But you don't have anything else. What's going on in the chat there?
Jace player, you don't need 4 Rest in Peace if you're putting together a mill deck. You just need 1. Just saying.
Yep. The other person in the chat named Garrett saying that their nickname at the store was Garrett Wildspeaker. You, of course, are Garrett Relentless.
Right, much better.
When you shift into...
I don't untap lands. I make wolves.
I think, Garrett, were you in here when we had the discussion about Planeswalkers, best of all time?
No.
I won't rehash that, but I'll just say that Garrett Wildspeaker is a lot higher on my list than he's probably on a lot of people's.
Oh. Maybe if you have...
All right, round 3. So we're going to take a brief break here, switch back to the other camera, and then we'll go get the 2-0 match here of this...
I thought you said, my breasts will kill your wolves. Sorry, but...
It's going to be Chris and John.
Let me use the restroom.
You want someone else back here?
We'll be back.
You and Chris are 2-0? Yeah.